I've been on Collette also for about 4 years. She's been part of our guru programs. And what I can say about Colette, her topic today is called We Are Nature. And anyone who is following us on YouTube would see her reel was just unbelievable. And Olga created that reel. But the message was just so profound. Now, Colette is a dynamic professional with a rich background of over 25 years of financial service in the financial service industry. Beyond the corporate and academic realm, Colette is a passionate advocate for holistic health and wellness. As a certified integrative nutrition, health, and wellness coach and certified Reiki 1 practitioner, she has dedicated herself to empowering individuals to enhance their lives by fostering the connection between mind, body, soul, and spirit. Let's pass the torch, the mic, over to Collette Morgan.
Thank you, Diane. I just want to say that I need an energy change right now. And I want to give you a hand. So I think we should all stand up and just give you a hand for starting this platform, and to Chrislyn for a wonderful job. So if we could all just stand up and yay, cheer them on. Yay! Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so excited. Thank you. Well, yes, good morning, and thank you, Diane, and thank you, Olga. I appreciate you providing this space for us to share on this platform. It's nice to see some of my friends here, some of my friends from the Dream Life community, and also some of my colleague authors, Olga, Diane, Chrislyn, and that's it. Oh, Sandra. So yeah, thank you. I have, in the past few years, embarked in a career in health and wellness, and it was not planned after being on this planet for over half a century that I would be changing careers at this stage in my life. But now that I'm here, I know where it's where I was supposed to be all along. All the detours and all the little stops and starts were there just for me to learn. Chrislyn mentioned 90% of people who set their goals don't achieve them. And I will have to say that you guys, Diane and Olga, and a lot of people on this call are not part of that 90%. You're part of that 10% who sets a goal, goes after it, stays dedicated, and achieves that goal. So kudos to you. Yes, I've been in the financial services industry for over 25 years. I've always been in the career of helping people. I started my career in sales management and insurance and in banking, and then I moved on to become an individual producer on the brokerage side. I did not get a lot of support from, my manager at the time, and basically it was kind of like there was a lot of good old boys that took care of each other, and the rest of us kind of had to figure it out for ourselves. So the most important detail, though, about my career as a revenue generator was that I loved working with people, and I became a trusted friend to my clients. And not only did I end up helping them on their financial goals, but they would ask my advice on other things as well. So what happened for me was in 2019, I was involved in a car accident. And that really was a turning point for me, where I just kind of changed my trajectory. I experienced a concussion in the accident, and my return to work, I was on medical leave for about 3 months, recuperating. And when I returned to work, I was just like flabbergasted. And this was in January of 2020, because even though I felt good and I looked much better, I turned on my computer and I was totally confused. Like it just looked like confusion. And in financial services, we have to interact with, 2 or 3 computers at the time and check the market and this, that, and the other. And I couldn't figure out what to do. So by the time March rolled around, this was in January, by the time March rolled around, and we were all, we had to work from home. We were ordered to work from home. I was excited. I was like, okay. So now everybody else is going to be as confused as I am. So I was excited about COVID and the whole working from home situation. And But what happened was after COVID ended and we were told to go back to work, I I realized my personality had changed. And so I was working with a branch manager, and she was a difficult the person that was handling that branch at the time was sort of difficult to work with. But what I realized that not only did I change, but my whole personality changed. I was different. I had no tolerance for rude behavior. I had set up very strict boundaries, and it didn't work well, let's say, with this person. And so I knew it was time for me to find somewhere else to go. And I sort of stumbled on health and wellness because I was actually trying to find my own way to health and wellness, because what the doctors were telling me, I went to vestibular therapy and physical therapy and all those other things. But what they were telling me to do, the medications they were giving me was not helping me. So I was on a journey to find out what I could do to help myself. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that I did or what I learned on my journey, if that's okay with you. But it just helped me to restore my health, and I feel better now than I had in my 30s and 40s. And I'm not offering any medical advice, or I'm just sharing some of the things that I changed that helped for me. And so it's kind of like in the holistic health category, nutrition, lifestyle changes that I made, and it helped to improve my overall well-being. So if that's okay, I'm going to share some of these things with you. And I talk a lot about the fact that we're in charge of our lives. And as we all know, we're not really taught that we're in charge. Like, we're taught this mechanistic view of our bodies, but it's not a machine, so to speak. It's a system that's always working for our best good. And the more that we understand the system and work with the system and help the system, we'll understand that it's always talking to us and telling us when we should, make a right turn, make a left turn, take care of this, take care of that. But we're not taught to read these signals. What we're taught to do is to, you know, um, mask the symptoms with the Tylenol or some other type of medication. If we can't sleep, we're taught to take sleep medication, whatever it is, right? But there's some things that we can do on our own to improve our health, and that's what I learned in this transition. So one of the places where I started, and this has been talked about many times on this particular framework, on this particular platform, is longevity and vitality starts with having a sense of purpose. Like, you really have to have that sense of purpose. As Olga said, work, 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 but without a sense of purpose and really loving what you're doing, work is not unfulfilling. And if it's not fulfilling, it's not going to help you, right? So I had lost that feeling, and really I had lost it for some years, but I didn't realize that I had lost it. I lost that feeling after my divorce and my children's response to it, because after the divorce they decided that they no longer needed a mother. And I was so distraught, because that was what I thought my purpose in life was. I was so much into motherhood and being the best mother I could. I'm not saying I was, because I didn't have good role models. They were okay, but they didn't know what they didn't know. Okay. And they experienced what they experienced, and they modeled what they experienced. And the thing about it is, my ex-husband, he knew that the only real way to hurt me was to encourage the schism that was taking place with the children. And so that's what he did. he actually encouraged him. So it was an environment where I was always putting him up on a pedestal to protect them from the dysfunction going on, and he was always trying to find ways to put me down. And as kids, they absorb that information, right? So listen, my purpose was being a mom. My kids don't want a mom at this point in time. And I didn't realize how much that affected me because we all put up these barriers, and I'm purpose driven. I'm a driven person as far as my goals are. So I was achieving my goals. I was getting my promotions. I was doing well at work. And I didn't realize the deeper effect that this had on me. My confidence was shaken, it was shattered, and I had a lot of questions about my relationship with God and the divine, and I was looking for answers. So finally, after years and years of searching, I decided to enroll in a master's program in theology. And it was by this time now, I'm still suffering from my concussion. And so it was like, can I do this? Can I actually enroll in a master's course and complete it? I was very upfront with the guidance counselor, and I told her about my concerns, and it was a very supportive environment because it is theology. And they said, okay, go ahead, do the best you can. And I did. But everything took me like longer, right? So a 2-hour assignment took me 4 hours. But what was interesting is one of the classes was spiritual practices, and the homework was to implement some of the practices that we were learning about it and write about it in our final paper. So I decided to take on silence, which I had already been adept at because of the concussion. Um, Noise really bothered me. I canceled all my cable and everything else because I wasn't watching any TV. I had kept the lights really low in my house because the lights bothered me. So I said, okay, I'll do silence. And then I picked up a few others. So, what I did was I said, well, let me take it a little bit further because I wanted to write a good final paper. And you have to actually do these things to be able to write the paper, right? So that's how they got us. So I started going to the beach every day. So now I'm practicing silence as I'm going to the beach because usually I would turn on the radio, catch the news, etc. So no, I drove to the beach in silence. And when I got to the beach, I sat in the car and I meditated, and then I started journaling. And then I decided, like, maybe I should walk from one end of the beach to the other because I hadn't been walking because it made me dizzy. So I said, well, let me give this a try. So then, the other end of the beach seemed so far, like it seemed like an impossible walk. But I said, I'm going to take my time and pace myself and see if I can do it. And there was this big structure at the other end. And I was like, what is that? Like, I was curious about it, right? And so I took one step at a time, one step at a time. And that's how we achieve our goals. You just take one thing that you can do, one step at a time. And by that one day that I decided that I was going to walk from one end of the beach to the other, not even sure if I would make it to the other end, I got to the other end. I realized that what looked like this big structure to me was just a jetty, right? And I was like laughing to myself. It was just a jetty, but it looked like this big, massive, thing. And so then I got into the routine. I was like, okay, now I'm going to do this every day. So that became my daily routine. And so then I learned about the mind-body connection and how our minds and bodies are connected by this amygdala thing that's running down here from our brain to our hearts to our gut. And that's why, we have these gut, reactions is with what we should and shouldn't do because it's all connected. And so, yeah, so that was kind of like the beginning. So I know that there's a lot of neuroscience research on gratitude and breath work and meditation that proves that these practices are interconnected. What fires together wires together, and it strengthens positive thought patterns, and that can assist you in achieving your goal and optimal health. So basically, what I'm saying is a lot of times we talked, Chrislyn talked a lot about our goals, but a lot of times in order to achieve our goals, we have to address the whole body, like holistically, because there may be things going wrong. And then we're just saying, oh, I'm getting old, or, oh, I'm whatever it is. But it may not be just that, right? So we have to approach everything that we want to do. The best way to do it is to be holistic. And during my walks, I actually started doing affirmations. And as a result of doing the affirmations, I decided to pick one particular spiritual practice that I could focus my affirmations on, and that was forgiveness. And I talk about forgiveness in the chapter of my anthology book, what I did with James and some of the other people on here, where I talk about how I didn't even know that I was still holding resentment towards my dad. And so, yeah, I talk about how just dialing into myself revealed that to me. So Bruce Lipton talks a lot about this in his book, The Biology of Belief. And I know many of you might be old enough, like I am, to remember the headlines of the Human Genome Project, where they actually announced that they finally figured out the roadmap um, to our genes. And then they found out that actually it wasn't such a revealing thing, because they actually found out that only a very small percentage of genetic program is responsible for our health. The genes are a blueprint, yes. The genes give us our color eyes and maybe our complexion and our color hair. But the actual environment determines how these genes are expressed. He equates the environment to a computer program. You purchase a brand new computer, you turn it on, but nothing happens. You say, what happened? This is a brand new computer. Then someone says you have to program it. Once it's programmed, it operates from the program that you downloaded. And that is what happens to many of us, of course. They say now, actually, during the first 7 years of our life, because we're more open to receptivity. And we don't question anything, right? We just take it all in. And what we're exposed to is what we learn. And if it's good or even if it's bad, that's what we learn. We don't question it. And many of us run from this programming, are running from this program for the rest of our lives, but we're not conscious of it. Okay. And so by silence and meditation and journaling and doing some of these practices, we start to really like connect. Like if you have a problem of the busy woman syndrome, where you're always running, you're not connecting. You're not taking the time to connect. And because many of these programs, they operate on a subconscious level. So our conscious level is handling and taking care of, and for me, enrolling and da-di-da-di-da-di, and patting myself. Actually, I was patting myself on the back for getting a divorce. Like I thought I was a superwoman because I left, prosperity and a really good life because I wanted my peace and calm. But I said, oh, I've got it going on, because I knew how to leave, a toxic marriage. And what I didn't understand was how I had gotten into the marriage in the first place. It was due to my programming. And until I changed my programming, I was going to repeat the same programming, which I did in a second marriage and with many other relationships that I had after that. So I took the time, going back to my walks. It's not only that I took the time to connect with my subconscious programming, but I didn't understand this whole thing about traumatic experiences and how we develop protective responses. And these protective responses drive our behavior. So instead of being busy, I understood that I needed to recognize and change the program, and that would be the true catalyst for change. The beauty of implementing and taking the time to implement some of these practices is one success leads to another. And I started to reframe my definition of health. And that's, I got more into functional medicine. So in my certification program, I learned that health is more than what's on your plate. It's a holistic journey. I received my certification, and what I learned, I decided that I wanted to put it to good use by coaching others. Because what we do is readdress the root causes of illnesses in a holistic way. For example, one of my clients was diagnosed with leaky gut. Now, I'm familiar with that term because my mother told me that she also had leaky gut. And she told me that her doctor told her to stop eating tomatoes and fruits and vegetables with small seeds. And I asked her, well, how's your leaky gut doing? And she's like, well, I have leaky gut and I should stop eating, tomatoes. So take out the tomatoes when I made her a salad. Take out the tomatoes, or she maybe cut the inside of the tomatoes and just give her the skin part because she had leaky gut. Oh boy. Leaky gut is a list of symptoms that leads to that diagnosis. They didn't have any further tests to see whether it gotten better, but our cells are constantly regenerating, and we can improve our gut impermeability, which is leaky gut, through nutrition. And it's a pretty serious problem when the gut lining is compromised and it needs to be repaired. They actually say that inflammatory gut, leaky gut, is one of the leading causes of many of the autoimmune diseases and chronic diseases that we have now. Leaky gut, of course, a healthy microbiome, and also a leaky colon. And so we're taught to brush our teeth, wash our face, but we're not taught to check our poop, are we? Well, we're supposed to be checking that too, because the actual transit time of your poop is important. Because if you're not having a good transit time, then the toxins that we're getting, from the environment and that we're eating, and we're getting from the chemicals and the VOC exposure is being reabsorbed into our body. So, yes, nutrition plays a very important role in health, but it's not the only thing. Okay. Our bodies do need the micronutrients, carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, which I was taught actually that we should avoid fat because it makes us fat. But our bodies need carbohydrates, fats, and proteins because our cells are lined with lipids, with fats, and our brain cells need it. So all calories aren't created equal. And I kind of did my own experiment and I proved this to myself because during the whole time that I was sick and I couldn't exercise and I couldn't do anything, I lost about 20 pounds. So it's not calories in, calories out. It's all about what we're eating, the types of things we're eating, when we're eating it. This is what determines our health. So for me, I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables now because I try to get my phytonutrients because not only we have the micronutrients, which are carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, and then the macronutrients with the carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, and then the micronutrients, which are vitamins and minerals. And a lot of us have deficiencies in some of these vitamins and minerals. And so I try to eat, they say eat the rainbow. So, but the best thing to do is to get tested, really. Like you should just go to your doctor and get tested to see what you're deficient in, because a lot of people, are deficient in a lot of these vitamins and minerals, and then they show up in different things like skin tags and brain fog and weight gain that you can't explain. You're doing everything, you feel like you're doing everything right, but you can't lose weight. And that's how some of these problems show up because they're not problems where you feel like, I got to do something right away. It's just a little annoyance. And you think, oh, it's no big deal. No, it is a big deal. It is your body telling you that you need to address something, that something's missing. Like we eat to feed our gut bacteria, and our gut bacteria turns this into nutrients for our body. And so if we're not like doing this thing right, it's not going to work out. So I encourage everybody to remember to do that. Now, just to wrap it up a little bit, because I'm running out of time, I want to touch on, but I'm not going to be able to go into details, but I want to touch on some of the other things that are really, really important as far as nutrition and outside of nutrition. Sleep. Sleep plays a major role in our cognitive function. So if you're not sleeping right, you're not supporting your immune health. You're not going to be able to have a good weight balance. The negative effects of sleep deprivation has been studied widely, and they know now that if we're not sleeping well, we're not optimizing our health. And this goes for us and our children, for those of us who have children. So, pay attention to your children getting enough sleep, getting enough sunlight. Another important thing with sleep is that, that's when the lymphatic system removes all the toxins. So if we're not going through a complete cycle, like we're supposed to go through, I think they say 4 to 7 cycles every night between non-REM and REM sleep. And if we're not going through at least 4 to 5 of those cycles every night, then we're not optimizing our health. And the answer is not taking a drug. The answer is doing all of these things to help you get to sleep and to have that deep sleep. Sunlight exposure is extremely important because the sunlight suppresses melatonin and increases cortisol. So we do have to get that sunlight. Movement and exercise. They talk about movement and exercise all the time, and so we know it's important. But you don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to have a gym membership. You can just incorporate more movement and exercise in everything you do. And what the studies are showing now is that it's the things you do every day that make you healthy. And so, developing good routines is vitally important. So if you can't go to the gym, when you wake up, stretch. When you walk up, take the steps. Park far away in the parking lot, so you have to walk. When you get to the first landing of the step, do some calf raises. When you're on the phone or on a Zoom call, do some calf raises or move. Just even fidgeting is movement, right? But the science of movement and exercise is very important. And guess what else, guys? Laughter. Laughter is a natural mood enhancer. It reduces anxiety and stress. So definitely make time to laugh, even if it's a fake laugh, right? So go, do a fake laugh, do a fake laugh, do it, do a fake laugh, right? You will see your mood change. You will see your mood change. It releases endorphins, okay? It's a medicine you can't overdose on. Go for it, right? Breathing is important. Breathing is so important that it even helps with the formation of our teeth. So when our children need to be outside, breathing and, full breathing, not like nose, not like mouth breathing, but nose breathing, where your nose is there to, take in the oxygen, filter out the bad stuff, and then, send the good stuff into your body, right? And so breathing is important. Hydration. Water fuels the brain. If you're not drinking enough water, your gut takes it all, and your body is not 80 to 90% water. So you need that water for your brain, for all your cells to work correctly. You need water. Go back to my mom. I said, Mom, not drinking enough water. Oh, I take a sip every day, every minute, right? Meantime, at the end of the day, it's the same 16-ounce water. It's crazy, right? And so she's wondering, like, why do I have a headache? Why do I have brain fog? Mom, you're not drinking enough water, right? And so we kind of put these things off like they're not important. They are important. So one of the things when I work with my clients, we start to like crowd out. So we don't like put people on a diet because it's bio-individual and everybody is different because it depends on so many different things. But we start to crowd out. And once you start eating, more healthy food, your satiety level changes, you're getting more nutrient dense food, you're eating the rainbow, you're feeding your gut microbiome, you're maintaining your blood glucose level. you're checking your poop, you're reducing inflammation in your body. So my daily blueprint, what I would like to leave you with is my daily blueprint for wellness. And I'm still working on it, right? I'm still working, and I'll be working on it for the rest of my life. But everybody's different. So I'm just sharing what I do because, as I said before, we all have different genetics. We have different epigenetics. Epigenetics is the environment that I talked about earlier. We have different gut microbiomes. We have different body compositions. We have different sleep cycles. The more sleep you get, the more deep sleep you get, the healthier you are. The way your body's going to respond differently to food. Your blood glucose level, how you metabolize glucose, is going to affect you. But you should be checking all these things. You should know your numbers. You should check with your doctor, and you should not wait to an annual visit. And they give you they give you a range, and if you are within an acceptable range, the doctor will never tell you that you're sick because you're not. In their mind, you're in the average range, right? But the average range is the average of everybody that goes to that particular lab. It's not the optimal range. So you may be on the low end of the average, or you're just comparing yourself to sick people. You don't want to compare yourself to that. You want to optimize your health, right? So definitely check your numbers and know your numbers, and check it more frequently than once a year, and do some things in between, because it's the things that you do every day, your habits, that determine your health. So set a positive intention for the day. I start each day with my morning routine, and that includes stretching, my face, my arms. I lift my hands up. Even if I'm running short on time, I just stretch up as far as I can to bring my body back in alignment. I lean forward, and then I lean down, and then I roll myself back up, and this gets my spine back into alignment, because that's another thing. And then I go into, I check my blood glucose level every morning, even though the doctor never told me I had a problem, right? I still check it every morning to see how I'm doing. And then, then if I get into, like, if I'll get into my meditation or everything else. But every morning I make sure that I do the things, at least a half hour or an hour of something for me. That's before I start my day. I don't check my phone because I don't want to react to other people's agendas. I want my agenda to be the first agenda for the day. So that's what I do. I'm specific about my goals. So be specific and visualize your success. Practice forgiveness for emotional freedom. That freed me. That lifted. I felt light once I did that. Shift your negative thoughts to a positive perspective, and incorporate excellence in all areas of your life. If you're going to do something, go ahead and go all in and do it as best as you can. And if it doesn't meet somebody's expectations, that's okay. You met your own. So I learned that happiness does not live with other people or things. Nothing outside is going to make me happy. It's not going to be money. It's not going to be a career. It's not going to be a job. It's not going to be a relationship. It's going to be how I feel about myself, the relationship that I have with myself, and be humble. But we're taught to be, and kind. We're taught to be humble, but humility, I define humility as not thinking less about ourselves, but thinking about myself less, right? And gratitude. Gratitude is an easy ramp to feeling positive. As the philosopher Aristotle said, all the goals of goals is happiness. And happiness is a full job, not just health, not just one thing. It's a holistic approach. And that's it. Thank you. My website will be up soon. It's ColetteMorgan.com. You will see all my course offerings as soon as I post them, okay? Because this is new. I'm transitioning, as I said. But yeah, I would love to work with anybody that feels stuck in any area of your life. And it's, as I said, we're all bio-individual. So becoming unstuck is your journey, and I will help you on that journey. Thank you.
Diane, you're muted.
Okay, sorry. Colette, thank you so much. The entire time I was totally leaned in. What a great presentation. And what I got from this is, and we're gonna ask everyone, put your question in the chat or raise the reaction hand in the chat if you have a question for Colette. I know we're going over time, so I ask for your grace. And you can raise your hand or put it in the chat and we'll capture it. But in the meantime, I'm going to share what I captured from all of this. So, what I got was health is more than what you put on your plate. I mean, that is going to resonate with me forever. And the importance of hydration and sleep, sunlight, breathing, movement, laughter. You know, laughter, they said, I had read somewhere where someone healed themselves from cancer by just looking at comedies, and they were healed just by laughter. So laughter is powerful. And the best of all for me was incorporate excellence in everything that you do. Colette, I appreciate you so much, and I thank you for this message today. So does anyone have so Olga, if you want to jump in, and if anybody wants to chime in, and I have a question for Colette. Chrislyn?
Okay, hi, Colin. I don't have a question, but a comment. I thought it was a great presentation, and I like the phrase that you used that happiness is a holistic approach. Okay, we tend to look at different things to make us happy, but it is, and so it was a great reminder that we have to put all those pieces together. I think I put a comment earlier in the chat that I really didn't understand the importance of hydration until lately. I assumed that, okay, and I think you mentioned somebody, would drink a couple of sips of water. I think I was like that. I didn't really see the importance, but I realized the connection with hydration and inflammation. I do understand that and the importance. So my journey now is to drink, let me say, about a couple more glasses of water per day. It's hard because when you're not used to it, it's difficult. But thank you for the presentation. Yeah, and I think to all of us, it was an important reminder. The holistic approach.
Okay, so
Thank you. I was muted. Thank you. Yes, I had to find that balance between when I started drinking more water. I had to find that balance between not drinking too much, so I have to get up in the middle of the night. So yeah, I definitely it was a trade-off, right? But then I started drinking it earlier, and that helped. But I make sure I get my water in and get it in early if you can. Get it in early, like when you just wake up. So yeah, thank you.
okay, we got Sandra, and then we have Dr. Karen.
Thanks very much, Collette. Loved so many of those hints and tips. You mentioned laughter and you mentioned fake laughter. I like the fact that you said laughter is one of the things you can overdose on and it does you good. Do you have any other hints or tips in terms of laughter that can be incorporated, I can incorporate?
Just I actually take a laugh break when I feel like depressed or like down on energy. I take a laugh break and I go into Comedy Central and I start listening to these crazy people and I start cracking up, right? Steve Harvey makes me laugh. Like, you find a person that makes you laugh and you sit there, you crack up for a couple of minutes, it changes your whole mood, right? So yeah, and also not taking ourselves too seriously too. Like, that's a big deal. Like, when you think about something that you did to screw up, right? Try to reframe it in terms of, wow, that was really stupid. I can't believe whatever, right? Turn it into just something really, really funny, right? And you'll just, it does wonders. So that's what I do.
Okay, we got Dr. Karen.
Oh, is it happening?
Yes, you're unmuted.
Oh, okay. Hi. Thank you for your information, Collette. I agree with almost everything. And actually, when I talk, I'm going to incorporate a few things that you said, the good, bad, the ugly of the microbiome and stuff like that. But my question was going to be, well, one, in adding or trying to go to a different habits with healthy lifestyle, it is very hard to change things that you've had for a long time, and to take a small step, that you can celebrate, I think is really important. So in thinking about the water, my mom doesn't drink enough water. And what I try to do, and I wanted you to tell me if this is as good as drinking plain water, like putting cucumber slices in it, or putting lemon slices in it, not sweetener, but just some kind of, or mint leaves or basil leaves. Does that change the water, or does it still count as pure water? Do you know?
Yes, it definitely still counts as pure water. So yeah, flavoring your water is a great thing to do if you find someone doesn't want to tolerate the water by itself. And actually, the lemon in the water helps to detox your liver. So when you do the lemon, that's a good thing to do it early. And the other thing is, I mineralize my water, so I put sea salt in it as well. So I try to get some minerals sometimes also. So it's not just the plain water. And if you can filter your water, that would be best. Because if you don't filter it, your body filters it. So if you can get a water filter, that would be even better to help your mom.
Oh my God, right? Well, her house doesn't have that many filters. I have 4 filters at my house, and I pour it through a pitcher. I'll give her the pitcher. She has a well. She has well water, and I think it's pretty clean. There's a lot of sand, which is a good filtering system. But it's just the quantity that she doesn't drink enough. I mean, a lot of old people don't, because what you said, they don't want to get up and go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for your information. Thank
You're
you,
welcome,
Diane and
Dr.
Olga.
Karen.
Thank you, Olga and Diane, as well. Thank you much.
Okay, I know we way over time, so let's just see if there's any quick question. So Olga, so before we close out, Colette, do you have a last remark? Or maybe you can. Olga has a request, and we're gonna close on before we do that, because after we do this exercise, we're gonna close out. Our next Ascend Your Path is March the 15th. You'll be able to register as soon as we close this one out. The next one is going to open up, so you can look forward for your thank you, for the thank you email, and the free gifts that will be included. It will be in the thank you email, and you'll be able to register for Send Your Path. So Colette, Olga was asking, would you like to lead us in 10 seconds of just laughter, and then we're gonna say bye to each other? Is that okay?
I would love to.
Let's try
Everybody just relax and have a ball. Look at how crazy we look. We're up here. Hey.
Okay, guys, you can unmute yourself. So unmute yourself and start laughing. Let's hear it out.
and have people around you that laugh. Come on, I want to see some.
Wow. So cute.
Laughter is making me cough.
Thank you, beautiful people.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh my God. You see how everybody's personality comes through when they laugh? Like you just see another, like everybody comes to life. That's what laughter does. Surround yourself with people that make you laugh. Do that.
Thank you so much. And as we close up, we want to again ask, we ask for your grace and going over time, but I think this was quite entertaining. I love you all and see you on the next Ascend Your Path. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.